Manchester United missed the opportunity to make a record 31st FA Cup semi-final. From start to finish, Leicester outclassed United in every facet of the game. Let's see how Rodgers outclassed Ollie on the whiteboard. Leicester's high press was very aggressive, pressing United man for man, and on the odd occasion United beat Leicester's high press. They also backed that up with an aggressive mid-press. Predominantly, this was to stop United breaking out fast from the back and getting goal side of their midfield, which would have isolated Soyuncu and Evans, who haven't got the pace to match Martial and Greenwood. Going to screenshots of the game, Leicester had pressed United man for man, but Albrighton sells himself on Telles, who goes past him to beat the high press. But when Telles plays the ball up to Martial, Evans steps right up the pitch with him to stop United breaking up the field. Compare that to United's press, who in comparison were very passive. United sat back into pockets and only engaged the ball when it came into the areas of the respective players. United did this for two reasons. The first was to nullify Leicester's ability to play through midfield, splitting the midfield line to get the ball into the final third. The second reason was to reduce the space in behind for Vardy and Iheanacho to run into. Despite the theory, United failed miserably to get hold of Leicester's midfield and control the movement of Vardy and Iheanacho. Going to screenshots of the game, you can see how United have dropped right off Leicester. Early in the Man City game, United's back four were where United's midfield are in this screenshot. The midfield was here and the front line were here. But this next screenshot shows why United didn't do that in this game. Despite playing with a low line, Vardy still found space in the inside channel. Maguire is a sitting duck against Vardy, and Vardy puts the ball into the box for Iheanacho. Leicester played with touchline to touchline width throughout the game to create space centrally, but the way they achieved that was very clever. Leicester lined up with a back three and wing backs, but when Leicester had the ball, they played with split centre backs, and the spare centre back, either Fofana or Soyuncu, would push up the flank. This allowed the wing back on that side to push even further up the pitch, creating an overload on that side, but also created this possession structure that allowed Leicester to filter the ball out wide with ease, pulling United's defensive structure from side to side, creating space centrally. In this screenshot, you can see this possession structure Leicester created throughout the game. Evans and Fofana are the split centre-backs, with Soyuncu pushing up the left to create the overload. But you can see how this possession structure allowed Leicester to play around the outside of United's more inverted structure, which forced United to pull right across the pitch to whichever side the ball was played to. Going to the first goal, Fred got hammered for it, and there's no excuse for such a sloppy mistake, but there is more to the story. When trying to beat a high press, you can't play a straight ball into midfield because the midfield player receiving the ball is blindsided from this position. They don't know which side the press is coming from, and because the receiving player is facing his own goal, he can only go backwards again. To beat a press like Leicester's on Sunday, United had to go into midfield from the fullbacks. Playing the ball out wide would have pulled Leicester's press across the pitch, disrupting it, and the midfield player receiving the ball from a wide area is able to open their body up, creating a more peripheral view of the pitch, increasing passing options. Against Southampton and West Ham at home during Project Restart last season, and United's first two home games this season against Palace and Spurs, they were sitting ducks to the high press because they kept playing straight balls into midfield from Maguire and Lindelof. Going to a screenshot of the goal, Slabhead conceded that Fred has Tielemans up his arse. Instead of playing the ball out to Lindelof or Wan-Bissaka in space, which would have opened the pitch up, Slabhead plays the ball into Fred, who has nowhere to go, and puts him in the shit. Like I said, no excuses for Fred, but Slabhead's decision making in that position was a disgrace, and should never have put Fred in that position. The Devils' verdict is, Ollie's excuse after the game was players being overplayed and players underplayed due to injuries. To be fair, having played 47 games so far this season, the fatigue excuse holds some validity, but Leicester themselves have played 42 games so far this season and have had far more injuries than United with a lighter squad. The reality is, Ollie was completely outclassed by a superior tactical manager. Ollie again was found out for waiting too long to make changes and resulted to aimlessly throw in 4 bodies on in hope. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the game. Thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video.